someone left a comment thanking me for mentioning Black male authors in one of my recent videos. I believe it was my Juneteenth video, and it made me think, like, am I not talking about Black male authors enough? Let's change that. Hello friends, welcome back to Shelby in the Book Club. I'm Shelby Monet, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some Black male authors that I have read and some that are on my radar that I think you should be supporting and reading too. I've talked to you about Percival Everett. I've talked to you about James McBride, Ta-Nehisi Coates. We've talked about like all of my favorites. Donovan Ramsey, I read his When Crack Was King this year. That was awesome. We've talked about those. This list is comprised of Black authors that I have not spoken about, and there will be some honorable mentions because I see a few that I did not write down on this particular list. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my handy dandy iPad where I keep all of my notes and my bookish things, so don't be offended. I will be putting all of the books that I talk about on the screen. You can also find them in the description bar, which I also like to call the underneath a bar, okay? Because why? It's underneath the video. You see what I did there? All right. Before we get started, make sure you make sure you leave a comment at some point in time during this video. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you share. I am like 200 or so subscribers away from 3,000, and I wanted to hit 3,000 by the end of the year. I think we can do it sooner than that, and maybe there'll be a giveaway or something once we reach our goal of 3,000 subscribers, and then we can be on the road to 5K before the end of the year. Anything is possible. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, this is in no particular order. First up, I'm gonna show you the book because I have it, and I love this cover. It's one of my favorite book covers. But that is Sink by Joseph Earl Thomas. This is his memoir. I got this from the Aardvark book club box. I'm no longer subscribed to it, excuse me, but they do have some pretty good picks. Absolutely love this book cover. It really embodies what the book is about. So again, it is his memoir. He is from Philadelphia, and he tells his story. His writing, phenomenal. His writing style is absolutely beautiful. It is a hard read though. He's gone through some things, growing up in Philadelphia, being poor. So there are some trigger warnings. You should look that up if you decide to read this book. But he does have a fiction that came out this year called God Bless You, Otis Spunkmeyer. It says, a stirring, uninspiring novel about Black life in Philadelphia and the struggle to build intimate connections through the eyes of a struggling ex-Army grad student that reads like a direct communication from the soul. I'm so excited to read that. His writing style is something that, this book stuck with me. I didn't talk about it a lot because it was hard. It was a hard read, but his writing style is A1. I cannot wait to see where he goes and how well his writing improves. Kind of similar to what I said about The Blueprint and Rajiana Rashad. If this is where he is starting, where are we going? Phenomenal. Again, to kind of reiterate on that thing that I always say, I think a lot of writers think that the more that you write, the better writer you'll become. And really the answer is the more that you read, the better writer you'll become. You can tell that he is well read. You can tell. You can tell. Just by how his mind connects things. It just is great. And I cannot wait to read his nonfiction. I mean his fiction. I do like that he started by giving us his memoir to kind of not only introduce us to his writing style, but to introduce us to him. It puts me in the mind of Jesmyn Ward. So when I started reading Jesmyn Ward, I read her memoir first, which is The Men We Reap, and then I read her fiction, if I remember correctly. I at least read her memoir like soon into my journey into her working, right? So it was either the first book or the second book that I read by her. And when you read her work, including her memoir, it all kind of reads like it's all in the same universe. Like you can see why her characters are doing certain things based off of the things that she has experienced in her life. And I actually love that. Because there's always this conversation that we can separate the artist from the art. Whole time the artist is the art. Food for thought. Next. Oh, this book was weird, and I mean that in the kindest way possible. This is Devil is Fine by John Vercher. Now, really enjoyed this book. It put me in the mind of Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. That is his name, correct? I will probably put that on the screen somewhere. It put me in the mind of that book, which I talked about in a recent video. In my Juneteenth video, I think I talked about that. Because it is a father battling with the grief of losing his son, right? And there are a lot of things that come with grief, right? Grief is that friend that is rude and harsh and overstays their welcome and makes you face things that you didn't want to face. A lot of people think grief is, oh, I'm dealing with the loss of this particular person or this particular thing, but grief uncovers a whole bunch of stuff, and that is very, very prominent in this book. But why I say that it is weird is because there then is an aspect of magical realism connected to the things that the main character goes through in this book. Writing style, great. He tells the story very well. If you are looking for a book that is going to have a bunch of closure and that is going to have these like full circle moments, this is not it. Okay, it kind of like drops you in and you kind of get comfortable because it kind of feels like you know what you're in for with this, and then it takes a bunch of different twists and turns and all of this other stuff. It was very, very interesting, but it was weird. It was weird. And again, I say that in the kindest way possible. He does have other books that I do have copies of. I just have not read them yet. He's one of those authors where I'm like, this looks familiar, and I don't know why it looks familiar. So his other book that I have is After the Lights Go Out, which is the story of a boxer. He's a mixed race MMA fighter on the wrong side of 30, is facing the fight of his life. Xavier can no longer deny he is losing his battle with chronic traumatic and CTE. I know I read for fun. That word was about to hit me in my mouth. I'm not even going to do it for you, okay? He's struggling with CTE. Through the fog of memory loss, migraines, and paranoia, Xavier does his best to stay in shape by training at the Philadelphia gym owned by his cousin and manager, a retired champion boxer to whom Xavier owes an unpayable debt. It sounds good. I have a copy somewhere on this bookshelf. I will read it eventually, because now I'm curious if all of his books are weird and have that magical realism aspect that Devil is Fine does. There is the main character in Devil is Fine is also mixed race, and there are conversations of race in that book that I think are needed. I did enjoy in Devil and Fine also, because I keep calling it weird, and I don't, y'all hear that and y'all run with it like it's necessarily a negative thing when it's not. Some people enjoy weird books. I enjoy weird books. I've read a lot of them. Read a lot of weird books. I enjoyed the vulnerability of a black man. I enjoyed seeing that. I think that that is important to be displayed. I think it's also a reason why I enjoy reading Sink, right? To know that this Black man was able to sit and reflect on his life in a way. I enjoy that. The conversation about race, it felt like, and maybe this is on purpose because the author is mixed race, it felt like I was reading about him, and I wonder if that was on purpose and to add to the weirdness. Food for thought. Still enjoyed it. Y'all should be supporting him. Next we have Blood Debts. So this is actually a YA book, and it is a part of a series. There are 2 books. It is Blood Debts and Blood Justice. I don't know if there is going to be a third or not, but this is by Terry J. Benton Walker. I thoroughly enjoy Blood Debts. I listened to the audiobook when it first came out. There is magic. It takes place in New Orleans. There is like a little bit of historical fiction. Like it just was good. If you enjoyed Blood at the Root, I think you will enjoy Blood Debts. I need to read Blood Justice. I probably want to read both of them, together. So I will probably do a Blood Debts reread. But this is something that you could read with your teenagers. Okay? Because you should be reading with them. Don't make me have to fight you. I'm going to have to cuss. Next, my homie, my friend, has a book. His name is Jerome Thomas. Oh my God, friend, that's not even your name. Oh my God, obviously editing Shelby here. I don't know whose name is Thomas. It's Phillips. It's gonna be on the picture of the book in a second. I just had to come. I'm sorry, friend. How I call you my friend? And I'm well, that's very on brand for me. I don't know nobody's name. Friend. Anyway, go get my friend book with his actual name on it. This is The Madness. One of my favorite things about this book is how strong the narrator is. It's one of those things where sometimes you meet a main character and you need a couple of pages to know them, right? Or to get their voice. And the narrator, his voice is so strong. The way that it's written, the way that Jerome Phillips crafts his characters, like everything that I read in this book, I felt like I was in the car with the characters and I loved it. It's a little spooky, so keep that in mind. If you like horror, this is perfect for you. If you don't, I still think that it's good for you because I think it's a good gateway into darker, more spooky content. Just read it during the day if you have to. That's what I had to do. Y'all know I don't be reading horror like that. And this one, it was a couple things I was like, wait a minute now, I'm a little scared. But my favorite thing about it, it's well written. He writes very good stories. My favorite thing is how prominent the voice of the narrator is. I think it's great. It's my favorite thing. Next, The Secret Diaries of Charles Ignatius Sancho, which is by Patterson Joseph. So Charles Ignatius Sancho is based on a real person's life. So it says it's finally time for Charles Ignatius Sancho to tell his story, one that begins on a slave ship in the Atlantic and ends at the very center of London life. A lush, immersive tale of adventure, artistry, romance, and freedom set in 18th century England and based on a true story. I started this one, did not finish it, not because it wasn't good. I just got distracted by other things that I needed to read and like get videos up for, make content for, whatever the case may be. But this is something that I want to go back to because the writing was phenomenal. It was great. Y'all know I'm a sucker for good historical fiction. So I'ma read it. Oh, next. This is one of my favorite books. And I did not speak enough about it because when I read it was in that time where I wasn't creating content anymore. So I didn't really get to come online and rave about this book the way that I wanted to. But this is We Are Haunting by Tariq White. Oh my God. Oh my God. It tells the story of this spiritual awakening from two different perspectives. It tells when a mom has her spiritual awakening, and then it tells the son and his spiritual journey after his mom has passed. That's all I'm going to tell you. The blurb for this book says, for readers of Jesmyn Ward, and they did not lie. I thoroughly enjoy that book. It is something that I do want to read again, just so that I can have another opportunity to sink my teeth into it. Maybe I'll read it again before the year is out and do like a reading vlog on it so you guys can. I absolutely loved it. And it was the best book of 2023, named by NPR, winner of the 2023 Center for Fiction First Novel Prize. I love the Center for Fiction. If you are ever in Brooklyn, New York, please go to the Center for Fiction. It's one of my favorite bookstores. The way that they are set up, the way that they have just like event space, it's just a vibe in there. You can go into a bookstore and tell when places are curated by people that actually love books. We're gonna leave that there. And then I can show y'all this book because it's right here. I'm still currently reading this. This is A Little Devil in America by Hanif Abdurraqib. I'm getting better at saying his name. I really hate that. Like, I don't be wanting to butcher it, I should say. This is an ode to Black performance, right? And I think a conversation about how embedded performance is to Black culture, right? How we are one, and how performance is either shining a light on us or making fun of us, and then we are embedded in there somewhere too. He makes a lot of good points. I think my favorite thing about this so far is although he is Black American, he's Muslim, and that little bit of disconnect, right, of like not discrediting his Blackness because he's Muslim, but I think so much of Blackness is rooted in the church that a lot of the things that he talks about comes from the perspective of him being a Muslim man, right? Which I think that's cool, because there are some things that are normal to me. For example, funerals. He talked about how Black funerals are such a performance, and they are. And he mentioned how Muslim funerals are not like that. So like things like that, I thought was very cool. And I want to read more. Shameless plug. If you are not already a part of Show Be in the Book Club, you can join my book club using the link in the underneath a bar in the description bar. It is the first link there. You can join the Discord. His book that came out this year, called There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension, is one of our book club picks. So we will be reading more of his work together as a family. And if that's something that interests you, what is you waiting for, friend? Go ahead, click the link and join. What is you waiting for? Then, last but certainly not least, we have Lot by Brian. I always want to call him Byron. And then when I say Byron, I think of Tiana Taylor. Byron. I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to do that to you. Lot by Brian Washington, which is a collection of short stories. We all need a collection of short stories. We all do. It says, in the city of Houston, a sprawling, diverse microcosm of America, the son of a Black mother and a Latino father is coming of age. He's working at his family's restaurant, weathering his brother's blows, resenting his older sister's absence, and discovering he likes boys. again, I love that Black men have a space to be vulnerable in their writing. I love that. This is something that I haven't read yet, but I did read Memorial by him. It's right here. I ain't pulling that out. But I did read that by him, and I enjoyed the writing style. I didn't necessarily enjoy the story, but his writing I did enjoy. Those are two things. Being a writer and being able to tell a story are two completely different things. Y'all should learn that. Y'all should learn that. The other set of books that I wanted to talk about are the series that Eric LaSalle has. Just Let Your Soul Glow. Just let it shine through. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop singing to y'all all the time because I don't think y'all appreciate it. I don't think y'all do appreciate it. But he does have a thriller series. The first one is called Laws of Depravity. I can read, I do it for fun. Laws of Depravity, it is the Martyr Maker series. There are 3 books. So Laws of Depravity, Laws of Wrath, and Laws of Annihilation, which just came out last year, October of last year. I have all 3 of them. I haven't read it yet, but it's Eric LaSalle, so I feel like we should all just read it and we should support him as also a Black author. So there is that. Without further ado, please, in the comments, let me know who is your favorite Black male author. Who is he? What is his recent works? Like, tell us what we should be reading in the comments. If no one has told you today, I love you. You are kind. You are smart. You are important. If to no one, to me. Bye, friends.